but that shows that we are live. Okay, so my name is Troy, and this is DMT Tabletop Gaming, and with some fine folks here today, and we're going to run a one-shot session of Call of Cthulhu 7th Edition. This is actually my first time running the game. I've only previously played in 2 sessions of 6th Edition, both of which were ran by Jeff Cape. But it's a game I've always been really, really eager to try out. And with me tonight, I have some players that are quite familiar with the game, so they should be able to assist me in my efforts here. So if you guys want to run down the list, it doesn't matter who wants to jump in first. Just introduce yourself and tell me and any potential viewers, if you have any, just let us know about your experience with this game, if you have any.
Let the boss go first.
Hi, that would be Karl von Wolfgang, who fought way back 15 years ago in the trenches of the Great War, and since then has plied his trade wherever his brawn and muscle can bring him money. His reputation, though, eludes him, and he's decided recently to go a bit more clean, form his own company, a PI firm called the Wolf Academy. It may be a little aggressive, but he's thinking it'll pay off. He's finally captured the English language down pat thanks to his niece, who's been hanging around the office lately. He wonders what to do with her, and she might get in the way. Things get a little rough. Anyway, we're in this car, driving up north, possibly handing out brochures, trying to get some more clients, and I'm smoking a cigar and mulling what to do next.
All right, so just introduce yourselves. So Frank and Mika.
All right, so I'm MU Skulls Frank. I've run games at Gen Con as well as other local conventions. You can read all about me at www.muskulls.org.
Thank you, Frank.
Your character?
No, just introduce yourself, Mika, please, if you could.
Oh no! Oh, okay. I'm. Jeez, now you got me. Yeah, Micah. I'm running a lot of Call of Cthulhu. I'm not a member of the OSG, and yeah, that's basically it.
I'll have to get in one of your games at some point, Mika. I promise you that. We'll
yeah,
make that
you have
happen.
to. You really have to.
Another individual here with us tonight is Josh, and I know, Josh, you run a lot of Call of Cthulhu as well.
I have run a lot of Call of Cthulhu. I even made a YouTube channel, The Cock Ring. However, I only have one Call of Cthulhu because I've moved to Delta Green and Gash the Affair and other investigative horror games. But looking forward to it.
Wonderful. So give me a second here, and I'll set up the start of our investigation. So as Darren was saying earlier, you guys are making your way back from the small town of Bolton, which is just north of Arkham. You guys all find or call Arkham your home for different reasons. You have your business base there. The Wolf Academy is based out of Arkham. Cecile, you go to school there as well. But you are now making your way back on a rainy, balmy night. The date is August the 28th. The Farmer's Almanac has called for an early winter this year, but that's not what you've witnessed so far. The weather has been seasonally warm. The daytime was pleasant as you walked around Bolton and Ipswich, passing out these flyers. The business is new. There's lots of competition in the area, and as such, you're finding it very difficult to find any work at all. Maybe it's the disguised accent from the proprietor of the PI firm. Maybe it's just shady bunch of characters that he has working underneath him. As for those characters, we find them now. You're sitting in this car, this old, well, not old, but it's an older model Ford Model T. It's a 2-door, so the 2 individuals sitting in the back find themselves quite cramped. On the radio, you can hear the soothing sounds of Bing Crosby singing his most recent hit, and the rain beating down on the top of the tin roof, and the swoosh, swoosh of the wipers washing away the torrential rains pouring down overhead. We look around the car now. We look upon the driver, Mr. Wolfgang.
Herr Wolfgang.
Sitting beside him is his comrade, his young apprentice, a young man named Sandy, or at least that's how he's introduced himself.
Herr Wolfgang, you don't think you're driving too fast through here? It's hard to see.
I've been down this road before. It's okay. But keep your eyes open. It's a little crazy. Be comfortable back there.
In the back, there's not a lot of space in this two-seater. Bucket seat in the back. Little Cecile is pushed up against by a man who kind of gives her an uneasy feeling. She's met him before, but only briefly.
Yeah, Jonah is actually a smaller person, which is why he allowed the others to have the front. And every time he sees the bright headlights behind him for too long, he kind of reaches into his raincoat pocket, and you hear the trembling of a revolver in his pocket, almost unsettling, as it might catch a misfire. But he's always a little afraid that we're being followed.
And followed you are. But beside you is a young lady. How young is the young lady sitting beside him?
She's 20, and she eyes her, the man next to her a little bit, yeah. She always glances over and seems a little bit taken aback by him. And right now she's leaning forward, basically next to Sandy's ear, and whispers, "Sandy, can we talk to Uncle again? You know, I don't think a pistol is too dangerous for a woman. You know, I have to defend myself. I want to be involved in this company."
Yeah, I'll bring it up a little bit later.
And he probably never does, right?
Yeah, I prefer talking my way out of things mostly. The police carry the guns.
But why shouldn't we too? I mean, imagine if we're in trouble.
Can you imagine shooting somebody? That would be the worst.
But
Hey, Cecile.
yeah, Uncle?
Check out that car behind us. The fuck are they? What they want?
I lean back and I look out of the window. Seems fine to me.
That's your initial impression. But as the rain is pushed away by the wipers, whoosh, whoosh, one more time, you see those dim lights get brighter and brighter. And just as the car is approaching, the Bing Crosby songs, and there's an interlude in the radio station, and you can hear the roar of the engine. A larger car, much larger than the car you're riding in, much more powerful. The engine much more louder. Even inside the carriage here, you could hear it as it gets louder and louder, as the lights gets blinding. You put your hands up to cover your eyes just as it makes impact. Thud. Its metal bumper against your metal bumper. I'm going to get you to roll a drive automobile check. Will you please, Mr. Wolfgang? We're going to make this actually a hard check. The roads are covered and slick. As I was saying, it is seasonally warm, but the chance of hydroplaning is very real. You're on a bumpy old road, one little side street. We haven't reached the interstate road to go to Harcum yet.
Rat.
So as a hard roll, you're going to roll half. You need to roll half of your drive ability.
I did not make the roll, and suddenly hold on.
Yeah, you feel the impact immediately. Thud. Everyone gets thrusted forward. Maybe chests, heads, bodies bumping into other parts of the car that you wish you didn't. And
Why not?
You suddenly get thrown backwards, and you can feel the car turning. The ass end of the car pushed forward by this bigger automobile as it tries to turn past you, try to get past you. And as it does, you can feel your car spinning. But not only that, as you look up from the whiplash position, you can see that that car, as fast as it was going, has curved out in front of you now and has went up the side of the road and has crashed. Dust and debris, mud fly back towards you. As you come to a slow stop, that car is left in a piling, steaming mess as its radiator has exploded from the impact.
What is this?
Did you guys
Damn.
see that?
My bloody neck.
Is everyone fine? Uncle, are you okay?
Nothing I haven't felt before.
Jonah has already kicked the seat in front of us up, kind of ramming Sandy into the windshield, so he can open the door and check out the other car.
Yeah, it is a two-door car, too, so you're reaching over Sandy to try to get the door.
Oh, yeah, I'm kicking the seat up and then...
All right, Sandy, so after all that violent impact, you feel some more whiplash from behind.
Is there another car?
Yeah.
You guys
I'll
didn't
get
take
on
any,
as well.
you didn't take any serious wounds. You were lucky that the car only just nudged your bumper. It didn't hit straight into you. You noticed, Cecile, you noticed that the car was actually trying to pass you, but unfortunately, with the wet conditions and the size of this car on this small road, he didn't estimate properly how much clearance he needed, and he just nudged you enough to turn you around in a circular pattern, but it knocked him off course and he crashed in. So you two get out, and immediately the water is just beating down into your...
Cecile, can you drive?
Well, yeah, sure.
Okay, get in the front seat, behind the driver's wheel. If I say so, if I wave my hand, you reverse this car hard into theirs. Understand?
Yes, yeah, sure.
I got a weird feeling. Sandy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go check and see if the guy's okay.
Okay.
I think it wasn't on purpose. I shout out of the window. I think he just tried to pass by.
We'll see.
Again, the rain is pouring down violently, beating down the backs of your necks. About this time, you hear as the driver's side door of the large vehicle starts to slowly creak open, and you can see a hand. It looks like a bloodied hand reaching out now, and it's just dangling out as if the individual has slumped over trying to get out of the car.
I have my pistol drawn, and I'm kind of moving clockwise to get a view of him from the side.
All right, so you slowly walk up.
I don't slowly, I'm full speed.
Okay, sorry. So you sprint up quickly, and you see it looks like a middle-aged gentleman. It's hard to see any features at this point because he is, as I said, slumped over. But you can see a balding head, and even in the light of your headlight shining into the scene, you can see red blood dripping down his forehead. Is visible because he has a significant receding hairline. The gentleman seems to be quite jolly as his rotund body is hanging there. He starts to move slowly, trying to lift himself up, and you can hear him groaning in agony.
No one else in the car?
No, just the one driver.
Yeah.
Easy, pal. I'm going to move forward and look at what kind of first aid I can do for him.
Yeah, he's not responding to you at this point. He's just literally trying to drag his body out of the car. And as I said, the steam from the radiator of the large front engine car is just pluming back over the car, now further obscuring your view. So you approach him at this point?
Yeah, I'm planning on approaching him, and I'll just tell him, hey, Jonah, I'm gonna see if this guy's injured. We gotta help him out.
Yeah,
or I'll help him out. You can cover me.
Once I clearly see that this is not a hitman come to get me, I kind of pocket my revolver again. And I'm going to run to the car, and before I pay any attention to this guy, I'm going to kind of lean over him and try to turn the car off if it's still running.
Okay. So, Sandy, you walk up to the man. He senses you're coming, and he looks up at you from his somewhat prone position, lying on his stomach as he is with his arms dangling out, and he reaches for you as if looking for support to get upright in a more seated position. He stretches his arm out, and it brushes against your bicep and shoulder, and he's kind of holding on to you, anchoring himself up, and you can hear him grunting and groaning as he finally flips himself back up into a seated position, and you can see a significant wound running across his balding forehead. The blood is dripping now from the rain pouring in through the crack of the door, mixing with the blood, and it looked like he's significantly wounded, but did you have any medical training in your time in the university? I know you did psychology, but would you have done any general medicine as well?
Yeah, I guess a little bit. I got 10% in it.
Okay.
So yeah,
you might have done a first aid course or something of that.
Yeah, I'm primarily a first aid guy. I got 45%.
Good. So you immediately have seen wounds like this before. It just looks like he has not a superficial wound. It might need a couple of stitches, but it's certainly not life-threatening. It looks worse than it is because the blood is mixing with the rain. So it's all on his face. On initial, it looks like his nose is smashed in the whole bit, but you quickly realize that that's not the case. He just has his wound on his forehead from hitting the steering wheel potentially.
Okay.
So do you want to administer the first aid there, pull him out of the car, as your friend is coming up behind you now and trying to reach in around you to turn the car off?
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking if we're sheltered a little bit in the car, and maybe I can get in through the passenger side or something. Maybe that's better than having him in the rain if it's still raining pretty hard.
Yeah, it's coming down torrentially. So what are you going to do then, Jonah, being that your friend has not moved aside? You can reach in around him if you want. There's still, like I said, it's a large car, big doors. You can definitely reach in to turn the car off if you want to do so, as your friend now circles around to the passenger side to administer some first aid.
Yeah, by seeing this car smoking, I think I'm a little paranoid it might explode. So my first thought is just turn off the car and at least get the smoke to stop, if nothing else.
Okay, very good. I'm going to get you to roll quick spot hidden check for me.
All right.
As you reach into the car.
56, and my spot hidden, barely a success, just normal.
All right, so as you're reaching over him and you get to the ignition, you see down at where the gentleman's feet are, because he's still slumped into the car, his feet are still there. Down near the pedals, you can see that there's a small, not a Derringer, but a small caliber hand pistol is right there beside his right foot. Also strewn about the area in the middle where you don't know where these papers came from. They may have come from the glove compartment that's been knocked open at this point. It might have been from the center console or something, but there's these papers strewn about as well.
I'm going to kind of, in a swift motion, after I turn off the car, just kind of reach down and grab the pistol and pocket it.
Yeah, you can do so. As I said, Buddy is barely even conscious, so he doesn't see you do so.
Yeah, and I'll actually grab some papers and kind of hand them over the passenger seat to Sandy and say, hey, wipe the blood off.
Very good. So Sandy's in the car at this point. You hand them these papers. What is Wolfgang and his lovely niece doing at this point?
I turned to Cecil and tell her, I think it's somebody just wiped out. I think it was an accident.
Told you, it really didn't look like it was on purpose. Who would do that anyway? What are they doing there?
I think they're helping. They're helping a gentleman out. He seems to be wounded. I've seen these injuries before. Seems like a laceration to his scalp.
Shouldn't we take him to the hospital? I mean, I don't know how we fit all into our car, but he surely can't drive anymore.
Perhaps you're right. I'll talk to them. And I go towards them, put on my big hat with the big brim, the rain pouring off, and quickly slouch forward through the rain, tromp over and check out situation. And I take a look. As just my old instincts kick in as I get to the car, I take a good glance in the back seat, and if I can, and just curiosity. I see the markings of the car. Has it got some identification, and so on, and then all done in a heartbeat as I come up.
Yeah, you see the car is a Franklin V12. So this is a American-made automobile. It's significantly nicer than the decrepit car that you're driving. So this gentleman might be someone of some means. And the only thing you see in the back seat is you see a brown, weathered brown leather, like an overnight bag type tote type thing, sitting back there still in the back seat.
Very not unusual.
No.
Yeah. So I go, what's going on? Jonah, Sandy, is he okay?
I think so. He's wounded. We'll get him cleaned up here. He might need a stitch or two, but nothing life threatening. And I'll double check to make sure the papers I got are sanitary and would be something appropriate to help get rid of some of this blood and apply some pressure to the area.
Do any of you know who this guy is? This an expensive car. He's rich.
So at the point you look at the papers, Sandy, and you're looking at the gentleman, he reaches his hand out again and he touches yours gently as if he's saying thank you non-verbally. You see on the papers that it's some ledgers and receipts. It looks like it's from a national grocery store. The letterhead would have you believe so anyway. And all these papers that you have, all of from the same sort of business thing. So you can only assume that this man is some form of businessman.
Okay. And if they're clean enough, we'll use those to bandage his head or apply pressure to his head and hopefully stop some bleeding.
Howdy, barbarians! Here. I gave him a clean handkerchief. Come on, you people. Let's help him out.
Herr von Wolfgang, this is silk. Very well. And I'll apply it. It says your monogram and everything. And we'll use the silk handkerchief instead of the ledger sheets.
Very good. And as you do so, and you pat away the blood and put pressure to the wound, he starts to clear his throat a little bit. Some blood has gotten down inside his esophagus, you would think, and he coughs up a little bit. Could it be internal wounds? You have no idea at this point.
I come around and give him like a feel over and look into his eyes and see if I've seen many wounded men. And I can recognize deep trauma, and perhaps if I try to snap him out of it, I slap his face, his cheeks a few times, and say, where's your whiskey? Jonah, give me that whiskey. I know you have that flask.
So you've seen men in shock before, being a soldier, ex-soldier as you were. This man is not in shock. Instead of having the clammy, pasty, pale skin of someone going through intense trauma, this man has rosy red cheeks. As I said, he's rotund, borderline obese. He's quite jolly. He does not seem to be dying. He clears his throat once more and he looks to the person providing the care, Sandy, and he says, "Thank you. I'm indebted to you. I am so sorry that I caused this problem with you on the road. It was not my intention. I was just trying to get back to Harcum. I've been out of town trying to help a young lad. I'm sad to say that it's too late for him. Something's really fishy going on there. I must tell his parents. Please, can you provide me transport? Are you heading into the city?"
Herr von Wolfgang, that sounds like something appropriate for us to help him with, I'd think.
Jonah, how's the engine look? Does this thing run? Can we get it going?
You could do an automobile check if you want, but you have it turned off at this point, and the thing is still pluming smoke and all kinds of things. So your initial impression is that this thing is busted.
It looks like we're going to be a little more uncomfortable, eh? Well, let's be careful. I don't know if he can stand. Do I sense... I look at him again. So, can you stand?
I believe so. With a little help,
I should
be able to make it to the car.
My name's Carl.
So grateful, Carl. Thank you. And to you, Sandy. No, you didn't say your name. To you, young man. I appreciate all your efforts.
Of course, sir. Of course.
So, let's help him up, Sandy. And Jonah, check the trunk.
So he starts to shimmy out of the driver's side seat towards yourself. Carl, Jonah standing there in that area as well. Sandy, you're in the passenger seat. So he's able to slowly get himself out of the car. And as he does so, he's now leaning out and the rain is pouring on him. And he's leaning up onto the roof of the car, trying to gather his composure. And you can hear whimpering. You can hear open sobbing from this man as he puts his head down upon the roof of the car, and he's now openly sobbing in front of yourself and Jonah. See it?
I'll hold my umbrella up.
Sir, are you hurt? Are you hurting? Is something broken?
No, not physical. No, I'm okay. It's just Brian. What have I done? Poor Brian. His parents, they'll never forgive me. Poor Brian. I put him in that terrible, terrible place. His mother told me not to send him there. And now he's gone. It's all my fault. I'll never forgive myself.
Man, pull yourself together. And I shake him a bit. Pull yourself together. He's sobbing out here. In the rain. Who's this person? Where have you left him?
Herr von Wolfgang, maybe I could help with this a little bit. Obviously, this man suffered a recent shock. He wasn't racing down these roads for no reason, I suspect. So let's get him in the car, and maybe on the way we can resolve some issues.
Now I get out of the driver's seat now, and I hold open the door. Come on, Uncle. Let's get that poor man in here. We have to get going. And I look really uncomfortable because men don't cry in my family, so I'm really taken aback by this.
Oh, and he's crying too. He's like openly, like just slobbery sobbing. They were barely able to compose himself. He starts to slowly walk over towards the car, weak in the knees, and again, not from any physical injury. He just seems to be emotionally distraught.
The lighting hits my jagged scars on the side of my face, and my kind of the ruin of my right eye socket shines out from under my hat, and I kind of look at him like, it wouldn't last one day at the Tudenberg battle. Anyway.
Darren, do you have one of those milky eyes?
No,
not quite.
Actually, he's got his side of his head is shrapnel torn.
Love
good heavens.
That's exactly what this guy wants to see in this moment. You cursing at him.
He's a hard man.
In your guttural accent.
All right, take him put him in the car.
And I'll introduce. We weren't introduced, sir. My name's Sanford Martin, and who might you be?
Arthur. Arthur Anderson's my name. The boy I referred to, his name is Brian. We have to get to his parents' house. I can show you the way.
And Brian's parents are in Arkham?
Yes, they are.
Okay, very well, very well. We can do that. We can make that happen.
Please, get in. And I open the door for him, and I slightly push him. Not hard, just to keep him going.
Towards the back seat. He's like, as I said, he barely fits in behind the passenger side seat as it's pushed forward.
Are you telling me I should put him in the front?
He's already halfway in there now. He's kind of struggling as he does so, and there's like a moment of pause where you're in the back seat already, so you're opposite him, and you see this large, overweight man. Then he's just literally still got blood dripping out his face, mixed with the tears, and his snot's coming out of his nose at this point, and he's like.
I kind of mutter, there is room left in the trunk.
And he gets into the car quietly.
Handkerchief,
I'm going to realize that a car this nice is going to be, broken into anyway. So I'm going to do the job of making sure it's cleaned out.
So you would have noticed when you were standing with Carl, the bag in the back seat.
Yep.
The gentleman is completely oblivious, like he's not concerned about such things. He's in the car sitting beside Cecile at this point.
Yeah, I'll grab it, and then anything else. Do I need to pop the trunk or anything?
You could probably do so. The keys are still there. You can use them.
Yeah, I would grab the keys too, just so no one could just take it and drive it if it's still drivable.
Yes, you hit the lever, and you hear the trunk release in the back.
I go back to the car as well.
All right, so you two are over rummaging through this gentleman's things. You look in the back of the trunk, and all you see is the spare tire. So the only thing of interest is the bag, the brown leather-worn bag in the back seat.
Let's grab the bag, eh?
Yeah, I'll probably have the bag in my hand already and just kind of throw it at your direction.
Yep, thud lands into your chest. You catch it.
I go back to my car and open the trunk and put it in, but then I quickly open the bag and see what's in it.
You see a couple fresh linen shirts. You see a money clip with what looks to be a significant amount of walk-around money. And you see a nice pocket watch. Some personal care items in a little brown bag, not unlike the larger bag that you just put in your trunk.
I don't touch the money, or my old Junker honor kicks in. I'm like, we do need some gas money. We'll have to talk to him about this. Look around a bit more. Perhaps we have a client on our hands. He wants us to take us to this place, eh, Sandy? Or Jonah? What do you think about all this? Coincidence? I've been around this business too long, you and me. So something going on.
Well, I've been telling you, we need some desperate people to hire us, and don't get much more desperate than this.
He's got cash. I seen a wad in there, took a horse.
I'm going to begin to crawl into the back seat and just see this guy covered in blood and just weeping, with Cecilia doing her best to just swaddle him. And I'm going to kind of stick my head back out and turn to Sandy and say, Sandy, I'm afraid that, if he goes back into shock or if a worse injury happens, you won't be able to take care of him from the front seat. You need to be back there with him.
Yeah, I figured I'd be in the back. I'm also my size is 45, so I'm just slightly smaller than average. So
it's going to be tight over there. You might have to like kind of have Cecile sit between you and kind of half on you, half off of your lap.
Yeah, I hate that. Okay.
I love it.
Or, well, she's not going to sit on this bloody stranger.
No.
This is scandalous. Okay. And then while those guys
with one eye,
one baleful eye, and then while those guys were, let's say, casing the vehicle, I was going to go ahead and sort of position myself to sort of block any eyesight that Arthur might have of the car, and then just sort of try and get into the story of Brian a little bit and why he was in such a hurry, where he was coming from, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Cecile is doing the same, piping in now and then and asking who that Brian actually is, and
Very
tra-la.
good. So we'll do a little fast forward, skip ahead here. So Jonah, you get into the car. You sit in the front seat now beside Carl. You guys may be having your own little private conversations about the stash that you guys found in the back, and is now sitting safely in your trunk. Sandy, you and Cecile start not interrogating, but gently talking to this man who has now calmed down as your car has now started back up, and the soothing sounds of the 1930s AM radio settles everyone's nerves. He opens up to you, Sandy's. Seems to be comfortable with you. Maybe it's your body language. Maybe it was your initial caring nature. There's something about him. There's a trust there. The young girl also not as intimidating as the two gentlemen that he had also seen that had scared him a little. So now that he's in the back seat with you, he opens up and he tells you that Brian is a young man, an 18-year-old man, a fellow petitioner of his church that Arthur had given an opportunity to. He had hired Brian to act as the manager of the newly opened grocery store that was opened up in Innsmouth just 2 months prior. He tells you that a police report, and he was notified by the police that Brian had been missing, had gone missing from Innsmouth 2 days prior. The police report and the police officer that informed Arthur said that Brian had robbed the store, and in the middle of trying to be apprehended by the constables of Innsmouth, stole a vehicle and fled the town. This was everything against Brian's nature, according to Arthur. So he took it upon himself to drive to Innsmouth to inspect the store and to potentially talk to any locals and see if he could get to the bottom of it. Because there's no way this young man that he knew, that he trusted, such a young age to have such a position of responsibility within his company. Him, Arthur, being the regional manager of this national grocery chain. So he doesn't believe it. He went there, he interacted with the locals, and he's coming back very nervous about something odd has happened to Brian, something other than what the constables and the police reports have said.
But why are you crying? There is certainly an explanation for all of this.
They wouldn't tell me anything. He's calmer now, but his voice is still cracking. There's still a lot of emotion there. They wouldn't tell me anything. They always said it was an odd place filled with odd people. But it's underestimation. It's the oddest, weirdest place I've ever been. I should never have sent Brian there, not without listening to the locals of Arkham. The father of our church told him not to go, but he was driven. He wanted the job. I'm afraid for him. And then he starts to get emotional again.
Yeah, and so I'll kind of bring it back. So how long was Brian a manager at the store? How long had the store been open?
Just 3 months. We opened it at the end of summer.
Well, yeah, that's not very long. And how long have you known Brian?
I've known him since he was a wee lad. Me and his father go way back. He's a family friend. I trusted him. There's no way he did it. He didn't rob the store. We were paying him quite well for a man his age.
I'd agree. If you've known him that long and don't think he would have robbed it, I bet he wouldn't have. You seem like a really good judge of character. What you said the police told you it was robbed? What made him think it was robbed?
I went to the store. The cash register was broken. There's no doubt in that. The money was gone. The cash register had been ripped apart, smashed, broken into.
Yeah, well,
Brian was nowhere to be found. He wasn't at his lodgers.
and they said Brian had stolen a car?
They said during the attempt to apprehend him, he stole a car and fled town. That's what they informed me.
Did Brian have a car of his own?
He did not. He
Okay.
traveled to and from by bus.
But if Brian was the manager of the grocery store, he wouldn't have had to break open the cash register, though, would he?
See, that's where I was going. That's what I questioned them. It makes no sense.
We're both very smart people. I think we're seeing something the police aren't seeing. I think you're right, Arthur, and I think we can help you figure this out. And maybe somebody like us who understands you and understands Brian, but isn't otherwise personally involved, might be the best choice for a case like this.
While he says that, I awkwardly hold up one of our flyers, a little bit crumpled.
So you do, and he looks at it, and he wipes the tears away from his hands, and he holds it in his shaking hands. Wolf Academy, private investigating firm. I can pay you. I can pay you. My bag, please. You have to stop. He didn't realize that you took the bag.
Yeah, we've already taken care of that for you. We have your best interests at heart, Arthur, and we can be trusted. We'll get you to where you need to be, and we'll keep you safe, and we're very discreet.
I've been watching this in the mirror, Carl's, and he's eyeballing his niece, and of course, Sandy's back there. And he's nodding and goes, "Of course, the Wolfgang Academy is professional in this regard."
That's right. We're doing our best to make sure that Herr von Wolfgang is pleased with our service and our training.
Okay, some time passes. It is well into the middle of the night at this point. You're still a couple hours away from Arkham, but the conversation on the part of Arthur seems to slow as you ask more questions and he divulges more information. He tells you the location, the address of Arthur's parents. He tells you where Arthur was billeting at.
You mean Brian, probably.
Brian. Sorry.
Yep.
He tells you where Brian's parents live. He tells you where Brian was billeting in Innsmouth. It was also friends of the church from way back. And yeah, he tells you any information that you want. But you finally get to Harkham. He wants to go directly to Brian's parents' place. He also lives in Arkham. He tells you this, and he tells you his address. He tells you that he will gladly hire you for the job and that he will cooperate in any way to provide you with any access to the store. He gives you, with a shaky hand, a set of keys. And on the key ring, there's probably like 4 keys on there. And he tells you that these will get you in the different rooms, the lock cupboards and such of the grocery store there in Innsmouth. He tells you the address as well. He tells you that it's just outside of the main center core in Innsmouth. It'll be easy to find once you drive into this town. All roads lead to the city center, and the grocery store is well marked, and it's one of the more newer buildings in a town full of decrepit, rundown shanties.
And I guess I just want to clarify too, is Brian in custody then by the Innsmouth Constabulary?
No, they told me that he fled. They were not able to apprehend him.
He's on the lam. Very well. We'll do our best to track him down and bring him back safely.
You will be
a few more questions, if I could.
Anything I could do to help.
Did Brian have any other interests? Did he hang out with certain individuals? Was he a religious man?
He belonged to the same church as I and his mother. and his father.
And you knew him for many years.
I did. Dr. Wallace, the pastor at the ME Church here in Arkham, he actually tried to talk us out of allowing Brian to take this position. But I convinced him that it would do the boy good to have this responsibility.
That's Protestant, right? Probably, would we think?
I believe so. He tells you it is if you're asking the question.
Yeah.
If you ask him outright, he tells you yes.
Is there any reason whatsoever that would cause Brian to act out of character? Had he been drinking? Did he have gambling debts? You must be honest with us. Give me no more secrets if we are dealing with this person. He may be a criminal.
I've never known the boy to do anything to harm anyone, to be distrusting. He did not do well in school. This is true. He struggled academically. His prospects were limited. His mom and father did not want him to go to the army. They pleaded with me to give him a job. However, none, not his mother, not Marjorie, not William, and not Father Dr. Wallace, none of them wanted me to give him a job in Innsmouth, but it was the only opening.
And they thought he couldn't handle it? Or it was below him?
Where are you from? Your accent is quite peculiar. Have you not heard of Innsmouth? Have you not heard of the folks there? The stories are renowned in these parts.
Yeah, they're a bit provincial.
Sandy, your choice of words is most accurate.
I know these types, yes. Where I come from, there were provincials, as you call them. But
degenerates, inbreds.
The
town is full of them, but even inbreds buy groceries. But, and he starts to get emotional again, I should have known better. I should have known not to send Brian into that den of wolves. And now, look what has happened. It's driven him mad. It's driven him crazy. Driven him to thievery. Not only my store, but a car, putting himself in danger. If he's caught by the state police, they'll shoot him dead, and it's all my fault.
We just have to be faster, right, Uncle?
Our services are $32 a day. Sandy will provide you with the contract. You must sign it. And I will take a minimal forward 3-day advance. And
is
at that,
is that like a small fortune in 1934? He agrees. He agrees. There's nothing that he won't pay to save this young man's life.
Excellent. The Wolf Academy is at your disposal, and I look at all the troops.
About the same time, you pull into the drive of this modest home in Harkham. It's on one of the northern quarters of the city. The home of William and Marjorie Burnham, Brian's parents. We've arrived. Please give me a moment. I'll come and find you when you're welcome inside. And he clumsily gets out of his position, trying to shimmy up the seat. And Jonah, you feel him bumping into the back of the passenger seat where you are sitting.
I keep sitting on Sandy's lap.
Cecile, are you sure you're comfortable?
Yeah. And I look at him like, shut up.
Excuse me, young man. I must get through. Excuse me. Jonah, was it?
Move. Jonah, let the man out. See where he has to go.
Yeah, Jonah is going to get out of the car and then move the seat forward as far as he can. And then with 2 hands grasped to his arm, give him his hardest pull to help pry him out of the car.
He grunts a little at the tug of his shoulder. But he comes with you and clumsily gets out of the car, landing in the puddle of rain underfoot. And he hurriedly, as best as he can, scurrying up the drive towards the front porch of this home of Brian's parents and goes inside. Again, it's about 5 in the morning. He knocks at the door. He waits for a moment, and the lights come on in one of the rooms in the second floor. Then the lights come on in the area just outside of the door he's knocking on. A 40-year-old woman comes to the door, her hair curled up in ringlets. She looks at Arthur. There's a worried look comes over her face, and she reaches out and ushers him inside. He goes inside and closes the door. 10 minutes passes. Arthur doesn't return. 15, 20 minutes passes. Still no Arthur. And half an hour of you sitting in the car, waiting, listening to these soothing sounds of the 30s radio. Slowly, a gentleman comes out. Not Arthur, but he walks confidently up to you, Carl, at the driver's side window. He introduces himself. Excuse me, my name is William Burnham. I'm the father of Brian. Arthur told me that you will be taking on the case, helping to find my son.
That's right, Mr. Burnham.
If you need anything from me or my wife Marjorie, please come inside. You've had a long night. Arthur is resting. He's beside himself. We had to give him a drink and some form of sedation.
That's much obliged.
Please come in. We'll answer any questions, anything to help you find our son. We do not believe that he's run away. He would never run away. He loves his mother and his church. He loves Arthur. He would never hurt the man. Please come in.
And I go back to the trunk.
He ushers you all inside. He just gives you the invite, and then he walks back to the house, leaving the door ajar.
I get the bag from the trunk.
I encourage Cecile to I think we're going inside now.
Yeah. Let me make space, and I get out of the car. I don't look too happy. It was a nice place.
All right,
I'm muttering about young. I have to talk. Well.
Oh, Uncle, not again now.
Your mother. She said I was to watch you. I promised her.
You don't have to see everything, right?
I look at Sandy with death look.
That gives me the eye. Oh, geez. Oh, man.
Blame him, of course. And I stomp over to the front entrance, puffing my cigar furiously, smoking around. Come on inside, you're getting wet.
Y'all duck inside the house, and again, it's just modest. It's an average home. You step inside last, Cecile. Not very chivalrous, these gentlemen you're with. You just happen to be in the worst spot for getting out of the car. So you come in last.
I kind of ran away from Cecile probably a little bit. Yes. I don't need all the drama that's going on right now. Now, one question though, if I may. So are we in a middle class section of Arkham, or?
Yeah, I would say lower middle class for sure. These are working peoples, but they're
Okay.
definitely getting by okay.
Okay.
As I get into the hallway there, is there a picture of the family, maybe with a young man, so we have a picture of...
Certainly. You are very observant as you come in, and you see when you come in through the front door, just off to the right slightly, there's a staircase going up to the upper floor. And just on that little half wall there beside the staircase, you can see that it's lined with 3 oval or horizontal oval shaped picture frames, 2 of which are pictures of the husband and wife, and the third one down is a picture of the family that includes Brian. It seems to be depicting a young man, maybe a couple years younger than what he currently is, because he doesn't look like he's 18 in this photo. He looks like he's probably in junior high school or early high school. It's not a graduation picture. You notice that immediately. And one thing that you do notice as the rest of the people are ushered into the dining area to sit at the table to converse, the mother with her ringlet hair is just standing off to the side and watching as the men enter the dining room. And I'm going to get you to roll a intelligence check.
Everyone?
No, just you.
Oh, regular success.
All right. So being that you're a student at the Miskatonic School, you recognize this woman. You've seen her before. She's not a teacher. She's not someone that you interacted with there on a regular basis, but she is definitely someone that's employed at the university.
So, knowing my place, I stand next to her and I smile and I say, "Sorry, ma'am, but I think I know you. From university, maybe?"
You can see the worry on her face from the conversations with Arthur, who's not sitting at the dining room table, by the way. She just looks like she's has fear in her for the wellness of her son. She looks at you, looks you up and down. She's like, "I'm sorry, young lady, I do not recognize you. A lady of your age, are you a student at the Miskatonic?"
Yes, I am.
Ah, well, I do domestics at the girls' dormitory there. You may have seen me if you have friends that live on the property.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, I remember faces very well. And I try to keep her mind of the actual problem here.
She seems to ease a little bit. That tension in her body seems to alleviate. Her shoulder seems to lose some of that tension and slump a little bit. And you could hear a slow exhale from her.
So, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
So I just do some small talk, and when she's a little bit more relaxed, I say, "What is it possible to get a newer picture of your son? Because we will have to be able to find him."
Come with me, dear. We'll see what we can find in the living room. And she takes you by the arm and slowly walks you into the living room.
And maybe it's possible for us to have a look in his room. Is that possible? You know, sometimes my uncle, and I point at him, my uncle finds clues in the personal belongings. Not that we necessarily find something incriminating, but you know, that we get a feeling for the people.
Is your accent thick in any way?
Maybe a little bit.
Okay. So
because she didn't really grow up in Germany, so.
Right. So, but there's a little tinge of something.
Yeah,
there.
a tinge.
All right. So she's looking at you. She understands from the conversation that Arthur, that you have been hired to help with her son. So she's forthcoming. She first walks you into the living room, and upon the mantle, doilied up with these little white doilies, near a candelabra, there's a picture of Brian. It was a picture of Brian taken just 2.5 months prior. He has a beaming smile on his face. It was a picture taken by his family the day that they found out that Brian was going to be the manager at the grocery store. It was a proud day for the family. Proud day that their Brian had achieved something at such a young age. She hands it to you with a shaking hand. She's like, "Here you go. This is the most recent picture we have. This should do."
This is perfect. I will take good care of it, promise.
And the room. You wanted to see Brian's room? Yes, dear. Anything
yes,
I could do to help, please. Come this way. And she scurries forth and goes towards the staircase and starts to half jog up the staircase and creak a little as she goes up.
Yeah, I'll follow her. Definitely.
All right, so we'll skip back to the men. The men are in the kitchen, in the dining area, rather. Small little room, burgundy wallpaper, gold emblazoned adornments about. It's quite gaudy to look at. These people are trying to present themselves as being more well-off than they actually are, potentially. The father is sitting at the head of the table, and he waves his hand for you all to sit. He's like, please ask me anything. I will tell you anything you need to know about my son.
I did have a question about looking around. Did I see any crosses on the wall or any real overt sense of the Protestant religion?
No, there's not a lot of Jeebus paraphernalia about.
Okay. All right. And then okay, very well. Did Brian come back to visit very often from Innsmouth? Did he?
When was the last time you heard from Brian?
3 weeks ago. It's been 3 weeks since he was home. He comes back by way of the bus sometimes. We checked in at the bus station.
What was he like the last time you saw him?
He was happy. I've never seen him happier. He was happy with the job. He told us that he could see himself settling down in Innsmouth, which was troubling for his mother and I. We did not want our son to spend any time longer there in that blasted place than he had to. Go, potentially build up some reputation within the company, and then get a transfer to a place more fitting of a boy of his station.
How well do you know Arthur?
He looks...
Arthur Edison.
Anderson. He looks over towards one of the side rooms where Arthur is potentially at. You can hear a faint snoring sound from there as he looks over. Me and Arthur go way back. We were childhood friends. We worked together for a time back when we were younger men. I've known him for 40 years. I trust him as much as I trust anyone.
I see. Has he changed recently at all? Has he shown any signs of strange behavior or
only since we've heard of our son's criminal activities? We've all been taken aback. Sure, our son had a few troubling encounters when he was a little younger, but nothing like these constables are suggesting.
This may be important to the case. What sort of incidents would these be?
A few roughhousings when he was in grade school, standing up for himself against a few bullies. Nothing like any other boy would do in that
Never
position.
trouble with the law, never...
Do a psychology roll. Does that exist in 7th edition?
Yeah.
You can anyone sitting at the table, Jonah, Sandy, and Carl.
I made it normal success.
You're also trained to analyze people on some level. So you pick up on his nervousness right away when Carl asked if he had gotten into trouble with the law, and you could tell that he was lying, that this gentleman was lying when he said that it was only a matter of him protecting himself. So he doesn't say anything. He's sticking to it, but you see facial expressions, the breaking up of his voice. You get a sense that he was not being forthcoming.
Yeah, that there's some tension there.
Carl doesn't sense it, but he knows. But he's I thank you for your cooperation.
Anything, please. I know Arthur has fronted the bill to pay for you and your colleagues here to help. But again, if there's anything I can do financially to expedite this process, then we will be willing to do anything we can. We don't have a lot, but our son is everything to us. And we fear with every passing day, with every passing hour, if what they say is true, Brian is putting himself in more danger. And if they are lying, then
Do you have any idea where Brian is now?
We do not. The last time we talked to Brian was 3 weeks ago.
And then he's on the run since then.
That's what they would have us believe, that he's been on the run for the last 2 days. We do not believe this to be true.
Would
We will go
he be
to
able
Innsmouth.
to?
Go ahead.
All right. Would he be able to turn to you in the event of trouble? Do you think he would feel that way, that he would be able to turn to you?
Of
given
course.
the trouble he's in?
Of course. Brian and I are as close as a father and son could hope to be.
And that's definitely one where I'm really studying his reaction to see if how strong that relationship is.
I mean, you can roll the dice again, but
I could.
yeah, you where you sensed the lie before, I'm just going to say that you don't see those same mannerisms unfold this time.
Yeah, I feel like he's fully trustworthy. Okay, and then I did want to mention: did he mention having any friends in Innsmouth? Did because you were concerned about him settling there? Did he mention having friends?
He mentioned meeting someone special, a girl, a local girl. We warned him against falling for someone from that place.
So you gave him some counsel about that then?
Just briefly. His mother, actually, not I. It's not my place to talk about matters of the heart. I want my son to be successful. He's 18 years old. Getting caught up with a degenerate Innsmouth girl will not get him where he needs to be. I did not tell him that, but his mother was very forthcoming.
But his mother knows the program. Okay, so and then do you recall a name? Any kind of information at all would be so helpful in making sure this situation resolves in a healthy manner.
I believe he said her name was Judith.
Yes.
But again, I'm not 100% sure. I disregarded. I said my piece to my wife, who parlayed it to my son, and I washed my hands of the situation. He knows how I feel about the situation. Get in, get the job done, get out. There's no way my son is staying there. And if he is on the run, maybe that's better in the long run for Brian. And he's starting to get angry. You can sense that he's getting he's getting upset, emotional.
That's where I was confused on that psych roll, the passion. The psych roll was I was confused by his passion, I think. Okay. All right. Yeah, and then so let's just so I'll move on. So I'll move on to something more calming. We noticed the picture in the hallway. Has he changed much since that picture, would you say? Does he favor a beard or mustaches these days?
Oh no, he is not. He is a modern man like myself. We would never wear such things, such scruffy beards and being unkept. That is not our way. Now he's clean shaven. I do not recall the picture you're referring to, but there are.
He was like 14. No, he was younger than that. He was.
He hasn't changed a lot. Maybe he's a little taller. Maybe he's filled out a little, but he is still my boy. A boy is what he is. His mother has a recent picture. We had one developed. We were proud the day that he took the job. And again, you can sense that he's kind of troubled even saying that. It's like a double-edged sword. They were proud of him, but at the same time, they were never happy with the circumstance.
Nobody would be happy sending their kid to Innsmouth from Arkham.
Are you familiar with the place?
So Sanford resides in Arkham, but was actually born in Kingsport.
Which is closer to Innsmouth?
Yeah, also a seaside town. But we didn't travel. Nobody travels to Innsmouth. So we had our own issues in Kingsport, but
we will go to Innsmouth immediately. We'll get the car ready. Where is that niece?
Yeah, I'm thinking, being detective types, that we probably have some local maps, and there's really only kind of one road in or out of Innsmouth, right?
That's correct.
Yeah,
there's a couple different interstates to get up north, but there's only one small road that goes through the salt plains and stuff into the little inlet village.
At least between Arkham.
For sure. There's a northern route, but you guys will be coming from the south, going north, so you will be entering through the south part of the city or township, village, whatever it is at this point.
And we have the keys. We have the keys for the store, right?
Yeah. 4 keys. So I'm just relaying with Herr von Wolfgang, like a strategy. So these are the only roads that he could really take if he stole a car. He would have come back into Arkham or maybe gone north. So we'll be cutting him off, if we're driving in.
We've got a pretty cold lead, though. It's a 2.5 day trail. I say we leave immediately.
Yeah. Well, we know he didn't come here, I guess. So
this Judith, can we get an address from this William guy, perhaps? That's our only lead. Unless we find something at the store. We'll go there immediately and search it, no?
Yeah, I agree. So, so what I'd like to do, though, is as we're preparing to exit, maybe I'll, pass a note to Cecile, or try and
she's upstairs checking out the
Yeah.
bedroom.
Oh, okay. So I'll talk to Cecile or pass her note if she's in company with Marjorie about Judith, to ask about Judith, and then I'll quickly leave the room.
Looks like we lost our
we lost her Cecile.
Momentarily. No, we lost. No, we lost Troy.
So we win.
One time. Exactly.
We got paid in advance. Yeah, well done.
Yeah,
Okay,
Jonas.
I'll bring it back.
Jonas not into this book smart legwork stuff, so he was just kind of sleeping at the table, getting awakened as he slowly angered the father.
That's right. Straighten the spine, loosen the muscles a bit, shake out the neck.
I mean, it's 5:30 in the morning, so.
Yeah, but we're on a case. We're really on a case.
On a real one.
It's a real case.
I'm still convinced that the guy smashed the cash register to make it look like a robbery, stole the money, ran off with his stripper girlfriend.
Probably. I don't know why, but I think she has tentacles hidden somewhere.
Oh, you think Marjorie does?
No, the Judith.
All right. Is it just the mom and dad? Are there any other family members here?
Huh?
Were there brothers and sisters for Brian?
I don't think so.
Well, the thing is, he had a 40-year-old woman open the door, and if Brian's 18, then she would have been like 11 or 12 when she had him.
What?
No,
22.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. My math is really bad.
Oh my God, Josh! Oh my.
Dude, I haven't taken a math class in.
You don't have to take a math class. Minus 18 from 40.
Yeah, since elementary school, apparently.
I have a master's degree from one of the greatest universities in America. I'm just afraid to share which one it is now.
Yeah.
BYU or something?
BYU. Oh.
No, and I don't think Troy mentioned some siblings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't recall anything. Yeah, well, I guess we didn't really see any in the picture. So
No, that's true.
those siblings are not photographable.
No. They're
David,
hidden in the basement.
Exactly. Check the basement. Yeah. I wonder if he knows he's gone.
Yeah, he does.
He's sending stuff in a chat that you're not in. There's computer problems.
All right.
Looks like he may have to reboot. Yeah. It's unfortunate. We're still alive, though.
Yeah. That's why I said we win.
Take the bike.